you should hold the bone in this position. This is the correct anatomical position. आपका मन है आप ऐसे भी होल्ड कर सकते हैं, ऐसे भी होल्ड कर सकते हैं, कैसे भी होल्ड, बट the correct anatomical position is to hold the so that this is known as norma frontalis, this is known as norma, this is known as norma, this is known as norma basalis, this is known as norma basalis. So the basalis should be on the base, frontalis should be on the front, occipitalis should be on the posterior side, and verticalis on the top. So we should hold the bone in this position. Since this is a single bone, so there is no chance of side determination. So you can hold it in a same position. But if the bone is disarticulated, if this bone is disarticulated, then you have to hold it. If the bone is 2 in number, you have to hold it right and out the left. Okay. Now coming to the norma verticalis. In each aspect of the norma verticalis or norma occipitalis or norma frontalis or norma basalis, what we have to study is the name of the bone which participates in that zone, number one. Number second, the sutures present in that particular zone. Number three, is there any foramen in that particular zone? Or number four, if there is any other important silent features in that particular zone. So now, this is the norma verticalis. We have already did the norma verticalis is composed of the frontal bone and 2 parietal bone and the occipital bone also. And occipital bone also. We have already did this is the cornal suture. The cornal suture lie between the frontal bone and the 2 parietal bone. And we have got the sagittal suture which lie between the 2 parietal bone. And we have the rhamnoid suture which lie between the 2 parietal bone and the occipital bone. This zone is known as the blegma, which is the site for the anterior fontanelle, which closes at the age of 18 to 24 months. This side of the posterior fontanelle, which closes at the age of 2 to 3 months, 2 to 3 months only. And you have got the most prominent part on this. The most prominent part on this is known as vertex. The most prominent part on the sagittal suture, the most prominent part on the sagittal suture is known as the vertex. Okay? मुझे क्या कौन सा prominent part? Bone का cortical part? No, the sagittal suture. Now you have got the 2 foramen on the either side of the sagittal suture in the front posterior aspect of the frontal bone, and this is known as the frontal foramen. This is known as the parietal foramen. And through this passes the imaginary vein which connects the vein of the skull to the superior sagittal suture. Now the question is, why superior sagittal suture? Why not the other sinuses? I have told you that this imaginary vein connects the vein of the skull with the sagittal sinus only. Because the sagittal sinus, the name suggests the sagittal sinus. So when you will read about the internal aspect of the or inner aspect of the skull, you will find out that there is a groove on the inner aspect of the parietal bone just adjacent to this sagittal suture, and that is known as the sagittal sulcus. We have got the sagittal suture over outside, and we have got the sagittal sulcus on the inner aspect, and the sagittal sulcus is like this sagittal suture. It is a single in number. Sagittal sinus is also a single in number. We have got the sagittal sinus which travel from here to here. It is a single sinus. It is not a double. We have got a lot of sinuses which are double in 2 in number, but this is an example of the single sinus. Now the question is, what is imaginary vein? Since you are a PG student, you have to tell me what is the imaginary vein. We have got 3 types of vein. One is the normal vein, other is imaginary vein, which what is the third vein? Have you heard the name of third vein?
Diploid vein.
Diploid vein. So what is that? What is the difference between diploid vein and imaginary vein? The vein which connects the outer table with the inner table is known as the diploid vein. To maintain the pressure inside and outside. People have got a lot of tension. The corona has given a lot of tension to the people, but this tension is being released by, not by the 20 lakh crore, but by this diploid vein, which releases the tension from internal side to external side. Clear? Now we have got the imagery vein. What's the role of imagery vein? It connects the outer vein with the vein of the skull with the sinuses of the brain. It connects it is found exclusively on the skull. It is not found anywhere in the body. Both the vein, diploid vein and the imagery vein. We have got the table in all the bones. We have got suppose you take the femur, you have to take the cortex, it has got the endosteum and it has got the periosteum. So you have got a big chunk, big table over there, but there is no diploid vein over there. We don't have the diploid vein over there. We have got the diploid vein only present in case of the skull. So the imagery vein, which connects the vein of the outer world with the vein of the inner world, is known as the imagery vein. It is a one-way track. Imagery vein, the vein from the outer side can go to the inside, but the vein from the blood from the inside cannot come to the outside. Clear? So there is always a chance of infection. If you have got some boil or anything over here, the chances of infection going into that is very easy. Okay? The sagittal sinus does not drain through the imagery vein. Okay? Because all the venous blood from here to the imagery vein, they go into the sagittal sinus, ultimately through the sigmoid sinus to the internal jugular vein, it comes outside body. Okay? So the features are the vertex, the parietal filament, which passes the parietal vein, imagery vein, which connects the outer and inner world. Okay? Now, anything else? Now this one is known as the parietal eminence. The two eminence over here. You see the two prominence over here. This is known as the parietal eminence. Okay? This is known as the parietal eminence. Or this is also known as the parietal tuber. This is known as the parietal tuber. The space in between the two parietal foramen, the bone in between the two parietal foramen is known as oblion. Clear? In between the two foramen, the chunk of bone which you see, the plate of bone which you are seeing over here, is known as the oblion.
Oblion may be called the part of sagittal sinus.
If you take the constituent of the oblion, it is not only the sagittal suture but also the part of the parietal bone. And how the suture is made? This is the end of the bone and this is the end of the bone. Its margin is getting serrated, and its margin is getting serrated, and two are coming together and creating a suture over here. So ultimately what? It is the margin of the two parietal bone is there, and in between the two margin of the parietal bone, we have got the suture also. So the constituent of the oblion will be the margin of the two parietal bone along with the sagittal suture present in between the two margin of the parietal bone. Clear? Now coming to the norma lateralis. Our today's topic is norma lateralis. So you take the norma lateralis. The number one is the bone which forms the norma lateralis. So you take either from the front or you take either from the back. But preferably you should take from the front. So you don't see that this is the norma frontalis. The norma frontalis is starting from the nose going up to the occipital bone. Norma lateralis. If you take your lateral view, the lateral view starts from the nose and going up to the occipital region, dicky. So up to that zone you have got the norma lateralis. Actually the bone, there are few bones which overlap in the two zones. Say for example, the norma frontalis, both in the norma frontalis and in the vertical region are also in the norma lateralis. So now coming to the point, the norma lateralis, we have got the nasal bone first. We have got the nasal bone. First the nasal bone, then next moving towards the posteriorly. Next we have this bone is. ये क्या है? What is this?
maxilla,
Maxilla. This is maxilla. उस दिन भी आप लोग को बताए थे. Moving to posteriorly, next to maxilla we have got
zygomatic process of maxilla.
जाइगोमेटिक बोन. पहले तो बोन होगा ना,
पहले bone होगा.
पहले बोन होगा. We are talking about the bone which take part in the formation of the norma lateralis. We are not talking about anything else. We are talking about the bone which forms the norma lateralis. We are not talking about anything else. So when we talk about the bone, never say any process. The bone should be in toto. Clear? So we have got the norma, we have got this nasal bone, then we have got the maxilla. You could say the frontal process of nasal process of the maxilla, because the nasal process, it is actually the nasal process of, or the frontal process of maxilla which is taking part in the norma lateralis. It is not the entire maxilla. But we have to say that it is the maxilla which take part in the formation of the norma lateralis. So the nasal bone, then the maxilla, then we have got the zygomatic bone. Moving forward, the zygomatic bone, then we have got this bone is what is this bone? बता दो तो हम जब पीजी का पढ़ाई कर रहे थे. ये बाबा जहाँ पर हम लिख दिए स्पिनॉइड बोन. ये भीतर वाला ये स्पिनॉइड बोन. दिस इज स्पिनॉइड बोन. And what more specific, what is the name of this bone? Sphenoid bone के बहुत सारे पार्ट हैं. क्या है इसका क्या नाम है? What is the name of this bone? हैं? ललन बाबू, इसे काम चलेगा. थोड़ा बहुत पढ़िए, नहीं पढ़िएगा तो जुलूम हो जाएगा. क्या?
अरे उसमें wing type of.
You are the PG student. You are supposed to take the classes of the UG. You are supposed to take the classes of the UG, and if you are not prepared for that, how you will take the classes of the UG? Identifying the bone is the job of the first year student, it's not the job of the PG student. The greater weight of the sphenoid bone. This is the greater. अगर यहीं पर हम क्वेश्चन पूछें, what about the when you are talking about the greater wing of sphenoid bone? Have you heard the name of lesser wing of sphenoid bone?
सर लेसर विंग को फिर एंटीरियर और मिडिल में बांटते हैं वहीं पर से.
What is lesser wing? Have you heard the name of lesser wing of sphenoid bone? Can you see from outside the lesser wing of the sphenoid bone?
No, sir.
Where you will say? When you remove the vault of the skull, when you look into the cranial fossa, there the bone which separates the anterior cranial fossa from the middle cranial fossa is none other than the lesser wing of the sphenoid bone. Is none other than lesser wing of the sphenoid bone, which I have already taught you in the last class. Clear? So this is the greater wing of the sphenoid bone. You have to say the sphenoid bone. Okay? Now moving forward further, the next bone is temporal bone. Moving further, we have got finally the occipital bones. Clear? So the nasal bone, the maxilla, then the zygomatic bone, then the sphenoid bone, then temporal bone, and finally the occipital bone. These are the constituent part of the norma lateralis. Constituent part of norma lateralis. Now the features in the norma lateralis. The most important thing, the features in the norma lateralis. The most important feature in the norma lateralis is the presence of the zygomatic arch. The presence of zygomatic arch. And this zygomatic arch is formed by, how is it formed? कैसे?
Zygomatic process of occipital bone.
हम क्लास में बताए थे.
Temporal process of zygomatic.
Temporal process of?
Zygomatic.
Excellent. When two bones are meeting together, इफ दे आर सेंडिंग देयर मैसेंजर, अगर तुमने अपना मैसेंजर, सालिम ने अपना मैसेंजर भेजा, क्या नाम है इसका, ललन को, तो उस मैसेंजर का नाम क्या होगा? मैसेंजर इज गोइंग टुवर्ड द ललन बट इज द मैसेंजर ऑफ द सालिम, सो सालिम इज द सालिम्स मैसेंजर। क्या बोले इसको? सालिस मैसेंजर उसका नाम होगा, और जब वो मैसेंजर भेजेगा उसका नाम होगा ललन्स मैसेंजर। ठीक, तो जो बोन अपने तरफ से प्रोसेस भेज रहा है, जो बोन अपने प्रोसेस से, अपने तरफ से भेज रहा है, अल्टीमेटली ऑथोरिटी उसका होगा, ऑथोरिटी उसका होगा। ठीक है, तो जैसे जाइगोमेटिक बोन अपने तरफ से भेज रहा है, जा रहा है ये टेम्पोरल बोन की तरफ, टेम्पोरल प्रोसेस ऑफ द जाइगोमेटिक बोन, ऑथोरिटी जाइगोमेटिक बोन है, ऑथोरिटी इट इज द जाइगोमेटिक बोन which is sending their messenger towards the temporal bone. Now next we have got the, it is going towards zygomatic bone from the temporal bone, so it will be called as the zygomatic process of the temporal bone. Zygomatic process of temporal bone. So this will go from the zygomatic process of the temporal bone. Clear? Clear हुआ? Now it has got an upper border, it has got a lower border, it has got the external surface, it has got the internal surface. Clear? The outer surface it is subcutaneous. It's not subcutaneous because the muscle which attached to it does not give it the chance to become so subcutaneous like the. Have you heard the name of any other bone which is subcutaneous? Clavicle. Other than that, the medial border of the ulna. The medial border of ulna is subcutaneous. Then sin of the tibia is subcutaneous. But when you, being an orthopedic surgeon, when you give incision over the medial border of the ulna, it is not subcutaneous. The bone muscles are so overlapped over there, though not taking origin bang from the medial surface of the ulna, but they are so overlapped that you have to struggle to pull the muscle apart. Okay, so what is the muscle which attached to over here? Have you heard the name of the muscle which attached to over here? Very important muscle. एक बात बता देते हैं, जिस साइंटिस्ट ने भी इस स्कल को बनाया है या बोन को बनाया है, उसके पास बहुत दिमाग था। कम से कम जब नहीं कुछ आता रहे, when you commit through any foramen, the structure passing through that foramen, you take the name of that foramen and you commit the artery and the nerve or the vein, 70-80% chances it will be corrected. If any muscle which is, the examiner has asked you to tell me the name of the muscle which come from that particular bone, if you don't know, you commit the name of that bone before telling the name of the muscle, 50-60% chances it will be correct. Never commit the name of the other bone while talking about the other bone. Clear? I am talking about the zygomatic arch. Okay? Zygomatic arch is not a single bone. It is a mixture of the two messengers, two processes. So the name of the muscle over here is not pertain to this particular zone. It is the one of the muscle of mastication. It is known as the masseter muscle. It is the one of the muscle of mastication. It is known as the masseter muscle. Have you heard the name of masseter? What are the other muscles of the mastication? Buccinator is the muscle of mastication. Buccinator is the muscle of mastication. What is the actually the buccinator is? What is the function of buccinator? Is there any function of buccinator? चलो जब पूछी दी हो तो buccinator के बारे में तो बताइए। Chewing. Blowing. Blow the air. When you are blowing the air, it is due to the buccinator muscle. अपने से सर थोड़ा ये तो आपको पता होना चाहिए, आप तो हवा भरते हैं। चलिए, नाउ So it is the masseter muscle which takes origin from, and remember the muscle of mastication has got some peculiar thing. All the muscle of mastication take origin from the skull, and all the muscle of mastication get inserted into the mandible and mandible only. ये ब्रह्म सत्य है. All muscle of mastication get inserted into the mandible and mandible only. Clear? So now, we're talking about the norma, zygomatic arch. Now zygomatic arch, when you trace it backward, you see there are two roots over there. It is divided and it has got two roots. The one is known as the anterior root and other is known as the posterior root. You see, root दिख रहा है आपको? और इस रूट के बीच में आपको
इसमें पोस्टीरियर रूट नहीं दिख रहा है.
कैसे नहीं दिखेगा बाप? ये ऐसे करोगे इसको, ये एंटीरियर है
इंटीरियर है
और ये पोस्टीरियर है.
अच्छा ये ठीक. इसमें अच्छा से दिख रहा है.
अरे स्क्वैमो टिम्पैनिक फिशर के पास वहाँ पर में सब चीज मौजूद रहता है वहाँ पर. मिला? So this we have got the anterior root and the posterior root. Anterior root, this is anterior root and this is posterior root. And we have got a one tubercle, this is known as the articular tubercle, and it is present at the junction of the anterior root and the posterior root at the lower border. Anterior border root है, ये posterior root है. Anterior root और posterior root के बीच में here we have got the tubercle.
ये तो ग्रुप है.
दिस इज द, ये तो हो गया तुम्हारा, ये क्या कहते हैं, सॉरी, ये आर्टिकुलर ट्यूबरकल, सॉरी आर्टिकुलर ट्यूबरकल. दिस इज द एंटीरियर रूट एंड दिस वन इज द पीछे पोस्टीरियर रूट. दिस वन इज द पोस्टीरियर रूट. सॉरी गलत बता दिया. ये दिस इज द एंटीरियर रूट एंड दिस इज द पोस्टीरियर रूट. दिस पोस्टीरियर रूट एक्चुअली गेट कम्युनिकेट विद द बिकम द सुप्रामोस्टॉइड क्रेस्ट. So this one is the anterior root and this one is the posterior root, and in between the anterior root and posterior root at the lower point which you are seeing a tubercle, and this is known as the articular tubercle. This is the articular tubercle. This is the anterior root, this is the posterior root. Anterior root and posterior root. Two roots over there, and in between the two at the lower end you have got a tubercle over there, and this tubercle is known as the articular tubercle. Clear? This tubercle is known as articular tubercle.
यहाँ पे ना होगा, ये ना होगा, ये होगा.
आर्टिकुलर ट्यूबरकल, दिस वन इज आर्टिकुलर ट्यूबरकल.
ये रूट, ये ट्यूबरकल.
ठीक बता जी.
रिवीजन करके आया नहीं है, जहाँ पे याद नहीं है. रिवीजन एक बार मार दे तो समझ में आ जाता है. एक बार देखना पड़ता है.
पोस्टीरियर रूट के बारे में लिखता है कि इट बिकम कंटिन्यूअस विद द सुप्रामोस्टॉइड क्रेस्ट. ठीक, एंड दिस इज द सुप्रामोस्टॉइड क्रेस्ट एंड द प्रोसेस इज कमिंग फ्रॉम द बोन, दी बोन. ऐसा तो नहीं है कि बीच में हम इसको बता देंगे. जब तक ये बोन से निकलेगा नहीं या उस बोन से मर्ज नहीं करेगा तब तक वो हो नहीं सकता.
रूट भी होगा वहीं पे सर.
रूट होगा वहीं पे जहाँ पर में कि वो मिलेगा. सिंस दिस इज द पोस्टीरियर रूट ओवर हेयर, ये वाला पोस्टीरियर रूट इसका होगा और ये वाला इसका एंटीरियर रूट होगा. बिकॉज द पोस्टीरियर रूट के बारे में कहता है कि इट बिकम कंटिन्यूअस विद द सुप्रामोस्टॉइड क्रेस्ट. ये सुप्रामोस्टॉइड क्रेस्ट के रूप में कंटिन्यूअस हो जाएगा. ठीक, एंड द एंटीरियर रूट एंड द पोस्टीरियर रूट के बीच में हेयर वी हैव गॉट दिस वन इज द आर्टिकुलर ट्यूबरकल. ये आर्टिकुलर ट्यूबरकल आपका होगा. दिस इज नॉट द एंटीरियर रूट, दिस इज द आर्टिकुलर ट्यूबरकल. दिस इज द आर्टिकुलर ट्यूबरकल ओवर हियर एंड दिस वन द हेयर वी हैव गॉट द एंटीरियर रूट. दिस वन दिस बिकम द एंटीरियर रूट बिकॉज एंटीरियर रूट के बारे में इसका कहना है इट पासेज मीडियली. इट पासेज medially to the mandibular fossa. It passes medially in front of articular fossa. The anterior root is in front of the mandibular fossa. ये articular fossa के front में आपका anterior root है. So this one is the anterior root. This one is the anterior root and this one is the posterior root. The two roots over here. अब हुआ सही है, ठीक है? The anterior root is in front of the mandibular fossa and the posterior root is lateral to the mandibular fossa and become continuous with the supramostoid crest. So we have got the anterior root over here and the posterior root over here, and in between the two roots we have got a tubercle and this is known as the articular tubercle, which give attachment to the lateral ligament of the TMJ. ठीक, अब क्लियर हुआ? क्यों है ये anterior root? Because it is lying in front of the mandibular fossa. And क्यों है ये posterior root? Because it is lying lateral to the mandibular fossa and it become continuous with the supramostoid crest. Continuous with the supramostoid crest. Clear? ठीक है? And this is the और ये वाला जो देख रहे हो जो हमको जिसको हम लोग अभी तक ट्यूबरकल कह रहे थे, ये वाला जो ट्यूबरकल है दिस इज पोस्ट गिग्नोइड ट्यूबरकल. दिस इज पोस्ट गिग्नोइड ट्यूबरकल जस्ट बिहाइंड द आर्टिकुलर फोसा. आर्टिकुलर फोसा के ठीक बिहाइंड में दिस वन इज नोन एज द पेंदो. दिस वन इज द एंटीरियर रूट. This one is the posterior root and this is the anterior root, this is the posterior root. Why it is anterior root? Because any root which is lying in front of the mandibular fossa. Why it is posterior root? Because it is lying lateral to the mandibular fossa. This one is the articular tubercle in between the anterior root and the posterior root of the zygomatic arch, and just behind the posterior root at the lower border we have got a tubercle over here. This is known as the post-gignoid tubercle. This is known as post-gignoid tubercle. Post-gignoid tubercle. So we have got the post-gignoid tubercle over here. We have got the articular tubercle over here. We have got the anterior root over here. We have got the posterior root. Now in between the anterior root and the posterior root, we have got a big fossa over here, and this is known as the mandibular fossa or the articular fossa. Now the question is, what does this do?
जी सर.
क्या सर? ये क्या काम करता है? What is the job of this fossa? Is anything lying over there or what happens to this fossa? अरे बाबा अभी तो इसका नाम बोले हम. क्या इसका नाम है?
मैंडिबुलर फोसा.
मैंडिबुलर फोसा इसका नाम है.
मैंडिबुल का
क्या होगा मैंडिबल का? मैंडिबल के साथ ये डांस करेगा, क्या करेगा? क्या अटैचमेंट? नेवर कमिट अटैचमेंट व्हेन यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट एनी जॉइंट. Attachment word should be used exclusively for the muscles and the ligaments,
कोई joint का
fascia,
नाम, कोई
the aponeurosis.
TMJ.
Never commit the term attachment in case of the artery, the nerve, the vein or any joint. For joint exclusively use term articulation. Use term articulation. So what articulate over here? Which part of mandible has got so many parts? Which part of the mandible?
मैंडिबल यही रखा हुआ.
यही mandible रखा हुआ है, बोलो. This is the head of the mandible. And what about this? The name of this one?
कौन प्रोसेस है भाई?
बाप रे बाप.
ऐसे नहीं बोलो.
कभी भी अभी हम बताएं ना, कभी भी नेवर कमिट द नेम ऑफ एनी अदर बोन टू एनी अदर बोन. ठीक है? हाँ, क्या बोलिए? दिस इज द condylar process of the mandible and this is the coronoid process of the mandible.
प्रोसेस है ये.
And in between the two is the This is known as the mandibular notch or mesenteric notch.
Notch.
And this notch is converted into foramen,
Foramen.
through which passes the mesenteric nerve and the vessels. Clear? Clear? So now we talk about the norma lateralis. Now, so this is the mandibular fossa giving articulation with the head of the mandible articulate with this, and we missed the name of the bone which take part in the formation of the norma lateralis, and the bone which we have missed is nothing but the mandible. The ramus, the lateral portion, the mandible also take part in the formation of the mandible. When we will talk about the infratemporal fossa, this play a very important role. Okay? When we talk about the infratemporal fossa, this will play a very important role over there. So now we talk about the yoga. Now come to the external acoustic metas. The external acoustic metas. Now you see the external acoustic metas. It has got the upper end, it has got the lower end, it has got anterior wall, and it has got posterior wall. See what happens to is anterior wall, superior wall, and the posterior wall. The anterior, the superior, and half of the posterior. This part is being formed by the squamous part of the temporal bone, and the lower half of the anterior wall and the base, the floor is being formed by the tympanic part of the temporal bone. This is known as the tympanic part of temporal bone. This is known as tympanic part of temporal bone. So this tympanic part of temporal bone forms the anterior wall and the floor of the auditory meter or external acoustic meter. Okay? Now moving further, we have got there is a crest over here. This is known as supramostoid crest. Because this is known as the mastoid bone. This is known as the mastoid bone. The mastoid bone we will discuss in detail when we will talk about the norma occipitalis. But here we have to talk about this one. So this is known as the mastoid bone. Now the mastoid bone is separated from the two bone you see. One from the parietal bone, and this is known as the parieto-mastoid suture. It is separated from the occipital bone. This is known as the occipito-mastoid suture, and the three suture meets at this point: the parieto-mastoid, the occipito-mastoid, and the lambdoid suture. And this meeting point of the three suture is known as ostrion. And this is also the site of the posterolateral fontanelle. Site of posterior lateral fontanelle. 2 से 3 महीना में ये भी क्लोज कर जाता है. So this is about the mastoid bone, and the most last important topic of today is this one is known as the supramastoid crest. Now supramastoid crest, you see the supramastoid crest is over here, and there is a triangle over here. This is known as the triangle, Mac-Evans triangle or suprametal triangle. How the triangle is being formed? This line is the supramastoid crest superior. The anterior wall is the external acoustic meatus from the lower wall, the inferior wall. The posteriorly, in parallel to the posterior wall of the external acoustic meatus, you draw a vertical tangent line. So if you draw a line over here, you have got the external acoustic meatus over here, supramastoid crest over here, and you have got the triangle over here, and this triangle is known as supramastoid triangle. There is a spine over there on the lateral wall, लेकिन इतना लोग छोटे-छोटे इस spine को खत्म कर दिया. There should be a spine over here, and the most why the suprametal triangle is so important. Anesthesia से आपको पता होगा, dental surgeon को पता है. This forms the lateral wall of the mastoid antrum. Lateral wall of mastoid antrum. Lateral wall of mastoid antrum. Lateral wall of mastoid antrum बना दो. हमको भी अब ये हो गया, बंद कर दो.